78 Sports TV here with former WEC lightweight champion and current UFC lightweight champion of the world, Showtime Anthony Pettis. How you doing today, champ?
I'm good, man. Can't complain. Just enjoying the weather out here in LA.
I hear you, man. So, how does it feel to be the UFC lightweight champion and to do it in front of a Milwaukee crowd?
Man, it's actually an amazing feeling. You know, it's a goal that I set out to accomplish, you know, when I started this thing. And to do it, you know, at the age of 26 in Milwaukee, I feel like I have a lot of potential to do big things with this, man. I'm not looking at just winning that title and that's it. I have a legacy to create.
Right. Okay, what can you tell us about them? You have some of the most dynamic kicks in MMA. What role did your previous training in Taekwondo play in your MMA development?
It was huge. I mean, I've been doing martial arts since I've been 5 years old. So I think the Taekwondo really played a key role in creating my style to be different than everybody else's. I mean, if not, you see all these guys with the wrestling and the boxing, the kickboxing, and the jiu-jitsu. I think you see my style, and the guys, they can't prepare for that because no one's at the level of Taekwondo training that I am at. And you add two Rufus and a coach like that allows me to be myself, but still gives me the traditional kickboxing technique, the boxing technique. You know, it creates a dangerous fighter, and that's what I am.
Okay, could you go over that with Duke Rufus? How did you first hook up with Duke Rufus, and how did that relationship start?
Initially, I came to Duke's gym because I wanted to teach mixed martial arts to my students. I own 2 martial arts gyms in Milwaukee. I was very active teaching at these gyms, the traditional martial arts schools. But you know, at the time, MMA, I was at 17, 18. The MMA was starting to become big. And my brother and I thought it'd be a good idea for one of us to learn MMA so we could teach to our students. So that was initially the reason why I went into Duke's gym. And you know, I go in there and start training. I just fall in love with it, man. I fall in love with the grind of training, the weight cutting, the everything that comes along with training. I just fell in love with it. And Duke had me try my first fight out at the age of 20. It was actually on my 20th birthday. And you know, I killed it. I had an amazing performance, 24-second knockout. And Duke's like, kid, you have a future in this. I see you being a world champion. At the time, you know, I laughed it off like, yeah, maybe anything's possible. And you know, 5 years later, here I am, you know, 2-time world champion.
Absolutely. I see Sergio, your brother Sergio, is in the UFC now. What advice did you give him before his debut?
Very proud of Sergio, man. Sergio's one of them kids that, you know, really put in the work. I mean, he's not living off the last name. He's not living off the accomplishments that I've had. He's in the gym every day, grinding, getting better. Anybody that trains with him will tell you, man, this kid is good. And the biggest advice I gave to Sergio is fall in love with the grind, fall in love with training, fall in love with, you know, the weight cut, fall in love with sacrificing, you know, all your time to train because the results will come. If you fall in love with the training, the wins will come, the championship belts will come, the money will come, you know, all the fame and glory comes along with that. You can't have the fame and glory and the money before the grind and then all the hard work. So we fall in love with that training and everything else just falls in place.
Okay. Now that your brother is in the UFC, who is the best brother tandem in the UFC? You and Sergio, or Nate and Nick Diaz?
You know what? I respect the Diaz brothers and what they've done. I think they have a lot more time in MMA, so they have more accomplishments. As a team, I mean, I'm a world champ. Neither of them were UFC world champ. But, you know, in enough time, you know, the Pettis bros will be the best brothers in MMA, for sure. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Our skill levels, you know, undeniable. My younger brother's 20, I'm 26. We have a long time in this sport, and everybody's going to stick around and watch the show.
Fuck the fucking Diaz brothers! Fuck them all! I buried those cockroaches!
Okay, a few more questions for you, Anthony. Can you go over the Jose Aldo situation for us? For those who don't know, you know, I know you're supposed to fight Jose Aldo, and then there was an injury. Could you go over that? And since then, there's been a lot of rumors and stuff from Aldo's camp saying that they seem like they're afraid to fight you. What's going on?
Well, I don't think they're afraid to fight me. I think it's a very dangerous fight. I think it just makes the most sense for it to be the most lucrative fight for both of us. I mean, there hasn't really been a super fight in the lighter weight classes. You haven't really seen 2 guys in their prime fight at our weight classes. I mean, I think both of our weight classes have some of the best fighters in the world, but you put two of the champs, you know, at the time, you know, in the best time of their career, you put them together to fight that hasn't been done in most combat sports. So The initial fight was supposed to take place before I won my UFC lightweight title in Brazil. I unfortunately suffered an LCL injury, a small ligament on the outside of the knee. Doesn't require surgery. It heals, in 4 or 5 weeks. And it just took me off the timeline to make that fight happen. But it perfectly set me up for August and Henderson's fight. And luckily for me, I hate to say luckily for me, but TJ Graham was injured, and that gave me the opportunity to step in and fight in front of my hometown crowd.
Okay. My last question for you, Showtime, is I asked this question yesterday to some friends of mine, but who do you feel has been the most influential in martial arts, in present-day martial arts, Bruce Lee or the Gracie family?
I would have to say Bruce Lee, because if you ask any martial artist, who Bruce Lee is, they know who he is. I mean, he's one of them guys that was way ahead of his time. He was doing the mixed martial arts before the UFC was around, and I mean, that was unheard of. Even when the UFC first came out, there was mixed feelings about it. People didn't really accept it until they put a great business plan behind it. A good guy like Dana White, gets involved with it and then makes it what it is today. And I mean, it's crazy how big the sport's going to be. It's only 20 years old. It's the youngest sport in the world, and the stage that it's on now it's amazing. I think Dana White says it's the best. Everybody doesn't know what football is. Everybody doesn't know what basketball is. But worldwide, nationwide, whether you have TV, whether you have cable, whether you have a radio, you know what fighting is. So I think mixed martial arts will be one of the biggest sports in the world.
Absolutely, I agree. I want to thank you so much for your time, Showtime. I know you're a busy man. I'm going to let you get back to doing what you do, and I will stay in contact with you.
Thanks very much, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.